Tudo desenvolveu, nossa, né?
it hit, and all that's. Was that, I thought.
No, not in but now. Although, as I saw.